Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. That scene playing out in a Syracuse courtroom this morning. The judge even stopping to ask Huff if pleading guilty to 2 murders was funny. The guilty pleas come with 2 life sentences to be handed down by the same judge next month.
Comes a little over a year since the horrific murders on St. Patrick's Day. After the shooting, Huff ran and later hid inside Upstate Community Hospital for nearly an hour till a staff member asked Huff to leave. State and local police searched for Huff all night, eventually crediting a 911 tip from a neighbor for the arrest. Here you can see body cam video from a New York State police officer conducting that arrest on West Seneca Turnpike. Well, tonight our Rachel Culver takes us inside the courtroom today for the bizarre proceeding where Huff's family was there to watch. Rachel.
Matt, Megan, any plea deal comes with the admission of guilt and what happened. Huff doing just that, confessing to the March 2025 shooting death of his girlfriend and son. But he did it in a bizarre way, with smiles, smirks, and even laughter. The allegations, horrific. As Judge Ted Limpert read them aloud, David Huff could be seen laughing, just moments before pleading guilty to the murder of his son and girlfriend.
You find this funny?
No, it's a joke stuck in my head. Go on. I'm listening.
Are you able to pay?
Is he a psycho? Is this just this laughing when you're pleading guilty to killing your 11-year-old son and girlfriend? Time and a place, but Jesus Christ.
Pay attention?
Absolutely.
Prosecutors say the 43-year-old used a 12-gauge shotgun to shoot and kill 32-year-old Yeroldis Schutte and also his 11-year-old son, Jeremiah. That happened inside a Roney Road home in Syracuse in March of 2025. The next day, a state trooper came upon Huff on the city's south side and calmly took him into custody. During court, Huff repeatedly looked back at the family of Jeremiah Huff that filled the room. At one point, David Huff took issue with the judge, saying he shot Jeremiah multiple times, including once in the head at close range.
You intentionally caused the death of Jeremiah Huff after you shot your 11-year-old son multiple times, including once in the head at close range with a 12-gauge shotgun. Is that true?
Jeremiah was not shot in the head by any means. But I'm pleading guilty.
All right, well, you have to allocate to what happened.
Okay.
And this is what was in the indictment. If you don't think that that's what happened, then we need to come back.
Well, we're not coming back, so I'm guilty of all of it.
All right, well,
I have no choice. I'm guilty of all of it. Whatever you guys say I'm guilty of, I'm guilty.
well, that's not how it works.
That's exactly how it's working, so I'm good.
Oh, hold on. Now that just, is he so distraught or sickened by what he did that he's just like, let's get it over with? Yes, I'm guilty. I don't think I shot him in the head, but I'm guilty of it. Is that some sign that he's remorseful of this? But let's keep going.
Prosecutor Rob Moran spoke on Huff's behavior, outlining that his priorities lie with the victims' families.
I could care less what his reaction to any of this is. He was shot in the head. And I would imagine if you have that memory in your head, it would be hard to admit publicly that you did that to your 11-year-old boy. But again, I could care less what he thinks. We've begun to turn the page finally to send him where he belongs for the rest of his life.
Huff's lawyers did say that he received psychiatric evaluation, ultimately deeming that he understood his actions. Any impairment was likely due to the voluntary use of drugs, which does not qualify him for an insanity defense. Sentencing will take place at the end of May, and the loved ones' families will have the opportunity to speak in court.
So was he just so high on drugs that he ended up killing both of them? I wonder what happened. Let's go over into the AI breakdown just to see if it tells us any more details about this horrible case. So, as we know, on April 28, 43-year-old David Huff pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder for the March 2025 shooting death of his 11-year-old son and his girlfriend, 32-year-old. During the plea, Huff conduct drew significant attention. So his laughter, his explanation of his laughter, and then his dispute over some of the details about him actually shooting him in the head. So he used a 12-gauge shotgun, killed both victims inside his stepfather's home. He also allegedly pointed the weapon at his stepfather during the attack. Whoa. While his defense team initially saw a psychiatric defense, evaluations concluded that Huff understood his actions and that any impairment was likely due to voluntary drug or alcohol abuse. Huff is scheduled to be sentenced on May 29th. He faces a sentence of 40 years to life in prison. So his guilty plea was a result of a deal offered by the prosecution that allowed him to avoid the potential life sentence in prison without parole. The plea followed months of legal delays while the defense sought a mental health related defense. So by pleading to 2 counts of second-degree murder, Huff opted for a deal with a sentence of 40 to life. Had he had gone to trial and been convicted first-degree murder, he could have faced life imprisonment with no chance of parole. Wow. Prosecution had significant evidence, including a 911 call from Huff's 11-year-old son made moments before he died while on the phone with his mother. You kill your own son while he's on the phone with the mother. That is some of the coldest things I've heard in a while. And it sounds like we know where he is going. Yes, a plea saves the family having to go through a trial and everything like that. But there's a possibility he has the possibility of parole now. He has a possibility of parole. He could have been in prison for the rest of his life and died in there. But he has a possibility to get out. Is that true justice? Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Absolutely crazy.